I thought that Impact went really well on Sunday night until Lauren came up to me after and said, "You can't keep saying things like that." Find out what freaked everyone out and much more in this week's CVC Youth Blog update. It is October 28th, and this is the CVC Youth Blog. A bunch of CVC youth leaders headed out Friday night to the Brecksville North Royalton game. We tailgated in the parking lot and then enjoyed a great game and an even better halftime. It was great to see so many CVC youth students and parents. Hey, if your son or daughter has an important game, concert, play, or anything else, let us know. Email youth@cvconline.org and we'll do our best to get there to support them. For the last few weeks in Collide, we've been learning about the law, particularly the 10 Commandments. We are a rule-following culture, right? We're all about it in the home and at school, so it can frustrate us to no end when we just can't seem to follow God's rules. We keep failing. So this week, our New City Catechism question was, since no one can keep the law, what is its purpose? The answer, that we may know the holy nature of God and the sinful nature of our hearts, and thus our need of a Savior. See, the law points us to Jesus, the solution for our lawlessness. This is what Paul says in Romans 3:20, that the reason for the law is to show us our need for a Savior. Hey, Collide parents, this week is a great opportunity to follow up with your kids as to whether or not they've made a decision to follow Jesus. Understanding that we can't keep the law and that we need a Savior is key to Christian doctrine. If you've not yet downloaded the New City Catechism app, it's free and is a great tool to have at your disposal for spiritual conversations with your kids. I thought Impact went really well on Sunday until Lauren came up to me after and said, "You can't keep saying things like that." She didn't really mean it. It was tongue-in-cheek. But what was she talking about? She was talking about the fact that I was talking about the future. And anytime you start talking about the future, you start to make people uncomfortable, especially high schoolers that are trying to plan for their future. And they got really weird about some of the stats that I shared. I talked about Singularity University, which is a Silicon Valley think tank sponsored by NASA and Google, and they work to predict the future based on the way that technology is rapidly affecting our world. I read a report to our high school students that said 70 to 80% of jobs will disappear within the next 20 years. That because of technology, there will be a complete turnover in the job market. That colleges are actually telling students now, you won't be able to graduate and find a job, you'll have to graduate and make a job. Singularity University is telling law students, if you're planning to study law, stop now. Because IBM Watson can now do the work of a room full of lawyers and paralegals. I brought this up because we're in James 4 this week. We finished James chapter 4, and James gets up in our business as it relates to planning. He says that we cannot just make plans and ask God to bless them. That just kind of smacks of arrogance. Hey, I'm going to do whatever I want to do, and God, you're just going to bless it. Rather, we should say to God, hey, God, I want you to tell me what to do. I want to do whatever you want me to do so that I can be a blessing. So I challenge the students to think deeply about how they make plans for both the long and short term in their lives. Are they asking God to bless the plans they've already made, or are they seeking to know His perfect will and plan for their lives so that they can be a blessing to others? What about you, Mom and Dad? Are you making plans for your kids and asking God to just bless them? Or are you asking God what He wants for your kids so that they can be a blessing to the world? Next event coming up is Impact Fall Retreat. It's right around the corner, November 22nd through the 24th. If you haven't signed up yet, the clock is ticking. That's all for this week. You can find out more about what is happening at CVC Youth every week by visiting CVCYouthBlog.org or following us on Facebook and Instagram. Just search CVC Youth.